Now, I want to say this about equality. For like the last, what, 6 years or so, one of the consistent things I've said, right, was that a lot of modern women don't really want equality because equality is work, right? You got to do your equal share. You have to work for what you have. They don't necessarily want that. They want to make the equal amount of money, but to do less of the work, right? So they will complain for, equal pay, but they don't want to do the equal work, right? So because they don't want to do the equal amount of work, they complain. They go to the media, they get on social media and they complain about equal pay, right? That's especially when I first started making videos, that was the big conversation with a lot of women was we want equal pay. We're not being paid equally, but what they're not saying is that they're not doing the equal amount of work. If they have to work in plants and warehouses and they got bonuses based off of the amount of work they put in, they would never get a bonus because they would never do the same amount of work. But then they will complain as though they should, right? Because some businesses, especially where I remember I worked at a place where you would get paid extra based on the amount of work you did. So there were guys that would make their base pay, then they would get bonuses, right? So those guys are gonna make more because they're gonna do more. They have a competitive mindset. They're not lazy. They're not looking for a handout or hookup, right? They're not looking for an advantage. They would want one, but they know as men they're not going to get that. And they're so used to working anyway. But you have women who talk about equality, but they don't necessarily want equality. They don't. And that's why I did the video today about Halle Berry. She's been on a roll with her complaints. And I did the video today. And I just highlighted how she feels like she shouldn't have to pay child support, that the child support system is outdated, right? It's outdated. And that she can now identify with a lot of men who have to go through it. I mean, you can identify with it, so you should be able to understand the problems that exist and the problems that need to go away. And the problems ain't going to go away simply based off of the fact that you have that nowadays you have women complaining about wanting equality. So the more women, especially these feminists, talk about wanting equality, the less likely a Halle Berry is going to have an opportunity to get out of paying that child support. And I believe someone said she was paying $16,000 a month for one child, daughter. She's not going to get out of it anytime soon. Because one, she's a celebrity, and two, because she made way more than the guy she had that child with. And based on the laws, that guy can go after her for child support. So when women have stuff to lose, right, they want the advantage of not having to deal with the same consequences as us as men have to deal with, right? But see, that's the overriding problem with modern women, is that they are hypocrites. And because they are hypocrites, they seem to think that the rules only apply to men. Doesn't apply to them because they're women and they've been oppressed. Well, how long are you going to continue to be oppressed? You brag about your degrees, you brag about your accomplishments. So why are you still talking about you're oppressed? The only thing that is oppressing you is your lazy work ethic. The fact that you want an advantage. The fact that you want the rules to only apply to men and not you. You want a way out, right? The only reason why you would have a Halle Berry identifying with men's issues as far as child support or even alimony, because she says she can identify with men on that and why they, and them paying that, right? Now they want this reform. But Hallie, you're supporting the Biden Harris administration, an administration that ain't gonna be doing no reforming whatsoever. You're supporting the status quo. And that's the problem. A lot of these women support the status quo. They support these laws hammering men for their money and resources. But you do nothing to help it. You don't do any awareness whatsoever. You get in the comment section and complain, but are you actually helping men organizations as far as child support go? No, because that's going to upset your feminist buddies. But you'll say it in the comment section because people call out your hypocrisy, right? So when you're called a hypocrite, now all of a sudden you want all this reform. You want things to change. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, things are not going to change anytime soon, Hallie, because you're supporting a political party that is all about taking from men and giving to women. But the part that they overlook is the fact that if you are a woman and you make more than your ex-husband or boyfriend, you're going to have to pay him spousal support. You're going to have to pay him child support. And they think that only applies to men, and they think they can shame men into not wanting that. The reason why in this stream, I had Mel B as the thumbnail and why I have Halle Berry in the stream is to serve two purposes. Because these are two women pretty much they're in the same boat. Mel B from the Spice Girls fame, she is paying support to her ex-husband. And she tried to offset that by going after Eddie Murphy for an increase on child support. All right? Then you got Halle Berry, who's paying child support to a guy who she just wanted a baby from. She didn't care this guy, didn't make a lot of money like that. She didn't care about the fact they weren't married. She didn't care about any of that. She just cared about the fact that she was going to be able to get that lighter, complected baby that she wanted from this guy. That's all she was thinking about. Now, I may be wrong. Y'all going to say, well, Jane, you're wrong. Okay, whatever. But the proof is there. Who has a baby by a guy who makes significantly less than them, not understanding that you're going to have to take care of that child? And that guy is going to see that as an opportunity to get money from you. So he's going to be like, well, she films. She's constantly working. I'm not really doing much of anything right now. I can take care of them. See, you overlooked that. What do you think? Because they were, Caucasian, that somehow things are going to be different? No, they're going to come after you for child support too. Any man would in that situation. I've seen more Caucasian dudes go after women for spousal support and even child support than I have black dudes, because there'll be situations where you will have these melanated males who will give in to the pressure and say, hey man, I ain't want to take her money, man. Even though it's, those situations do occur. A lot of times, there are guys that may not want to get anything from that woman. There are those that do. But what I'm saying is, when it comes to celebrities, when it comes to female celebrities like your Halle Berry, man, I've seen a number of them who are with Caucasian dudes or Caucasian females who are married or in relationships with these guys. They have children with these guys, and those guys end up getting child support. Look at Britney Spears and Kevin Federline, right? It's like these women just lose it and they just go and just date anybody and have children with them. They could have all these eligible men they could have had children with. You have children by a guy that literally does not have. He only has enough to support himself. He can't support nobody else. So if you're dumb enough to have relations with these guys and have children with them, then you got to understand that there's going to be consequences. The consequences are you're going to have to pay that child support. You may have to even pay that spousal support if you marry these guys. The burden is not always going to be on the man. But there are some women who are realizing that, hey, just because you're female doesn't mean you're going to be absolved of not having to pay that support. You're going to have to pay it. It's not always going to be on the man to handle those responsibilities. You're going to have to take care of your own responsibility too. But you see, in this westernized culture, we're being taught that it's shameful for men to want spousal support. It's shameful for men to want child support. But women will get praised for going after that bag. They will. Taking these guys to the cleaner. They find humor in that. But there's nothing funny about seeing women get taken to the cleaners, right? Even though that woman should have known better than to have children with the guy that she knows makes significantly less than her. Let me just say this. Look at Serena Williams. She's with a guy whose net worth is significantly less than hers. If they were to break up, he could sue her for child support, and he would probably win because he's not a dumb guy at all. I'm pretty sure he has great lawyers, seeing as though he ran Reddit for a long time, right? Or he was on the board that, basically was the co-founder of Reddit. And Reddit have had their share of issues over the years, even though he gave up his position at Reddit. I'm pretty sure he would not only get a bag, he would secure multiple bags. But Serena didn't care. She wanted a Caucasian guy by any means necessary. And I know there's gonna be some females that ain't gonna like it, but look at the optics. You got these women getting with these less successful brads, and then these guys are going straight for that money. You don't expect people to point that out.